Hello everyone, my name is Aditya with my co-host Aishwarya and our returning guest Mohammed. And welcome to the Web Dev Podcast, where we cover interesting web technologies and communities. Today we're going to discuss some big mobile UX topics and how we're bringing those to Capybara.
In the first half of this episode, we'll go into details about the importance of safe area in mobile devices and how to adopt them on your website and let them run perfectly on the mobile latest smartphones.
Mainly what we're going to be talking about is the home bar on iPhones and notches on iPhones and other modern phones. To deal with this, there's two major properties that we're going to be going into detail on, which is Viewport-fit, which is a meta tag that you can use on your website to make your website a little bit smarter on how it responds to different screen sizes. And the other thing is for iPhone specific, we're going to be going into environment safe area variables introduced by Apple. Aishwarya, what is the latest on Viewport-fit and what can we do with that?
So it started with iOS 11. This WebKit, it gave the extension Viewport-fit, which comes with two values. One is auto and other is cover. Auto is the default value. When we defined it as auto, the content of our website displays in the smallest rectangle inside the screen. The content of the website didn't conflicts with most of the notches and the things which are in the unsafe area. And when we set it to viewport cover, the content of the website renders in the largest rectangle of the screen.
So I think what's nice about this is automatically everybody gets Viewport-fit auto. If you do nothing, that's what you get. And so that means your website never interferes with the notch. So what it does is Viewport-fit auto automatically gives you space from the top. And that means you're never going to run into a situation where your website is colliding with the top part of your display. And what that leaves out is the bottom part of your website is not covered by Viewport-fit auto. So if you have any critical UI elements at the bottom of your screen, Viewport-fit auto isn't going to take care of that. And that's a good brief, I guess, on Viewport-fit. Do you want to add anything else before we move on from that?
No, it's all about Viewport-fit.
So for Viewport-fit, as you rightly mentioned, if you really want to take your site to the next level, you want to go from Viewport-fit auto to cover, which means now even in landscape mode where your website would have letterboxes on the side, now it goes edge to edge. So we have a blog that for our video viewers will be able to see good examples, and for people listening, we'll leave links in the description. So you can see right here on Viewport-fit auto, just to be safe, it's taking the smaller rectangle of the two, which would be the outer perimeter and the inside. So here our website gets cut off towards the edge, the sides of the screen, and that may work for a lot of us, but sometimes you want to take control of this area and you want to maybe customize it the way your site is branded. So the first step to that is using Viewport-fit cover. So what that does is it automatically gets rid of all of your safeguards and takes you edge to edge. But that also means now your content is going to be colliding with the notches and stuff like that and the basically rounded corners. So to deal with that, Apple then introduced also along with this environment safe area variables. So these are variables that you can use to create distance with either padding or margin in your web design to stay away or make sure you're a safe distance from the edges without losing your styling. So Aishwarya, do you want to go into, can you go into detail about?
Yeah, so here there are two things that we are seeing. One is environment function and other is the environment variable. This env is the environment function, and inside that if you see in the block they have written safe area insert bottom or left or right. So there are four variables for each side: top, bottom, left, right. This environment function was initially shipped with the name constant in the iOS 11, and from the 11.02 beta they have changed its name to environment, which we write env. So the first step is to set the viewport fit equals to cover, and now the developer needs to take care of the top, bottom, left and right padding or margin, basically spacing.
So Aishwarya, when applying these variables to our website. I know we'll go into more detail about this later when we go into our actual PRs for the week.
Yes.
But do you have any recommendations about what elements of your website we should be applying these safe area variables to?
Yeah, like we should definitely go for the header, footer, and the body. Means like the main content of your website. There are two approaches for this. One is we can identify the top, bottom, and corners of our website components which are there, and the other thing is to apply them on body. So it's basically highly dependent on your website.
Right. Okay.
Like in the Capybara, we are currently planning to add this on only bottom navigation, because all rest things are good in Capybara.
I think,
How does it work with the different orientations of the phone?
Yeah, this is a nice question. If like we have set the safe area insert left on the left side, and top on the top side of our website, and we change the orientation of our mobile, so it smartly detects the device has been rotated, and then it swaps its value accordingly, and your content of websites is perfect to view on all the orientation.
yeah, that makes it really handy that just because top was top when you're portrait doesn't mean that same value needs to stay at the top when you're horizontal. So that's some nice positioning. I think one improvement that they could eventually make to this is, I know more and more recently these terms have started to become more generic, where they, instead of using right, they'll use end, and instead of using left, they'll use start. So padding start would be to the left. So what that helps with is orientation, and also when you're doing left to right padded languages. So that way you don't have to update your whole thing at such a granular level. It's much more generic and much more versatile that way. So I think maybe with time they're going to just do top bottom. Top bottom hasn't changed, but left and right have generally moved towards start and end. So maybe that's something that they should be looking into.
Just accepting the Arabic websites.
And these environment variables are, does they work on all the browser or?
All the browsers which supports WebKit. I think Chrome and Safari definitely supports WebKit.
So
I'm not sure
most
about
of the major browsers,
Yeah.
actually. So I don't think you're going to run into any browser that's going to be completely caught in the dark with that. So Firefox, Chrome, as you said, and Safari. As we move on from this, I just want to say that safe area variables are something that elevate the value or the perceived value of your website a lot. So if it's something that you can do, and it's something that you feel like is going to enhance the way that your website's going to be experienced by iPhone users specifically, and then all other users too, obviously, because more and more phones are eventually going to start supporting these safe area variables and stuff that have these weird displays. So, and most of mobile traffic these days is web traffic is coming from mobile devices. Like for example, there's this Aldo shoes. Their website has these buttons at the bottom for on their category page that's for filtering, and I think their add to cart page is also at the bottom, stuff like that. And so when you're on an iPhone, those buttons just don't look nice because they're being overlapped by the bottom bar that's used to swipe home. And it kind of degrades the feeling of the website, even if the button is still technically accessible. And so just doing something like this will just elevate the look and feel of your website easily, and just, it's good. It's just good stuff to do. That wraps up most of what we want to talk about for safe areas in today's episode. If you have any more if anybody has anything interesting to say about safe areas, or if you have any questions that we should go into more detail about, feel free to leave a comment or something, and we'll either reply in the comments or we'll cover it in our next episode.